Okay, everyone. This video is to discuss how to write a paper following APA style. Now, watch out. This is about a paper, not a manuscript. So you do not need cover page, abstract, introduction method, results, discussion, all that jazz. You don't need that. All right. All you need is just a title, paper, and the references. Okay. More about it later. But let me just give you an example. This paper is what I required um, in my prejudice class, and it's 800 words. So what students supposed to do? They need to first spend 1 day as a social group member to which they do not or have not actually belonged. It can be any social group, and then they need to write the experience and then connect the experience to research. So there's a certain number of references they need to cite. Okay, so that's the basic idea. This is just a quick example I made up. Okay, so all the information and research right here, they are made up. Okay, so suppose that this is part of the paper, and when I get a paper, the first thing I see will be the references. Okay, and by the way, it's references, not works cited or bibliography. Okay, those are not APA style. References. Okay. Now, as you can see, there are 3 references, and the format is like this. First, you have all the last name, right? Smith, Lee, Roland, and first name initial, and then parentheses and the year of the publication, and then this is the title of the study, the research, and then the journal. Okay, as I said, the journal, peer-reviewed journal, is the best source. Okay, so this is the title of the journal, and then this is a volume number. Now, some website will give you also the parentheses and the number in it. You don't need to, but if you can include that, I will not, I will not correct you or give a fuss. Anyway, it's considered okay. And then this is a page number. Okay, and finally, some studies that they also have a DOI number. Okay, now if you have this DOI number, you can include that. If not, that's okay. You don't have to include that. Please do not give me a web address of where you get this article. It doesn't make sense. It's not APA style. Okay, this is APA style. All right. Again, this is last name, last name, last name, last name. Okay, the year, and then the title of the study, the title of the journal, volume number, and the page numbers. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now the next thing I see will be to examine if those studies, if those references are cited in the paper. Okay, and that's very important. So for example, I want to see if this study, Smith, Lee, and Roland, is cited in the paper. Let me see. According to Smith, okay, probably need another last name. Okay, so according to Smith, Lee, and Roland, so here is cited in this paper, so that's good. Now, how about Wood, Sorensen, and so on and so forth? Is this study cited? It's cited right here. Okay, so that's good. Lovelace in Holland, it's right here. All right, so that's good. Now, so be very careful if any studies, any references not cited in the paper, or you cite a study that is not in the references. If that happens, a lot of points will be taken away. All right, so that's a strictly APA style. You need to watch out. Now, finally, what I will see will be the source, okay, the references itself. Is it from journal? Okay, if it is from a peer-reviewed journal, and by the way, this is just a made-up journal. I don't think there's a journal called Journal of Psychology. But anyway, I prefer journal article. Okay, Journal of Prejudice, Journal of yeah. Anyway, if you want to use a book, textbook, as I say, usually it's okay. Um, some other books, it depends. Okay, so your best bet will be journal articles. Do not, I repeat, do not use internet resources such as Wikipedia, Psychology Today. A lot of people use Psychology Today, think it's okay because it's psychology. It's not okay. Okay, or ABC News. Those are considered online resources and not a very good source. Okay. All right. So that's references. After that, I start to read the article, the paper. And as I said, for this assignment, there are two parts. So the first part, the student will describe the experience. And for this particular student, she said, for this assignment, I decided to disguise myself as an overweight woman. I put on a wave suit. Well, if you can do that, would be awesome. But I put on a wave suit and I went to a mall and so on and so forth, right? And then she's supposed to connect some of her experience to studies. Of course, your experience might not uh, be in line with the studies, but the point is you have to review carefully all the references. Okay, so this student says, my experience indeed reflects what the research suggests. For example, when I went to a bookstore and sat next to a man, he stood up and left only after 30 seconds. And then she's going to cite a study. And there are tons of ways to cite a study, but I, I liked this way. You start with according to, and then you cite a study. So according to Smith, Lee, and Rowland, parentheses 2015. And then you explain. People are especially uncomfortable to see an overweight woman sitting next to them. All right. You start with according to, and please do not give the title of the study or the school of the researchers or the title of the journal. Don't give those kind of information. I mean, that's it's not useful. Okay, just give the last name here and then the year. That's all. All right. So now the next sentence, as you can see, this sentence is still about this study. So it's very important for you to explain to write in a way that readers understand this sentence is still about this study. Okay. So you can say they also pointed out that, and they explain that. So in this case, who are they? Of course, will be those researchers. Okay. So readers understand this sentence is about this study. All right. So they also pointed out that overweight women are more likely to receive prejudice than overweight men. And from my own observation, I believe some overweight men I saw in the mall indeed did not receive as much scornful eyes as I did. Okay, further, when I was in the food court, some people came to me and told me straightforward that I should watch what I ate. When I said I did, they said I was in denial. Alright, so now she cited another study. And you can see last names and then the year. And then this is the keyword, explained that. And there are a lot of words that you can use. You can say suggested, implied, pointed out. So that's why I say there are tons of ways to cite a study. Okay. Alright, so that people are more likely to feel responsible when they see an overweight person is having a meal. I wonder if it's true or not. I just made it up. But And again, this next sentence, as you can see, is still about this study. Okay, so the voice is, still belongs to those researchers, and that's why she said their study also implied that people show more sympathy toward homeless people because they tend to believe that a person's weight is totally controllable, while homeless people might be just outliers. Finally, Lovelace in Holland, 1999, suggested that, you can see suggested, right? People who are prejudiced against overweight women are insecure about their own weight. If you want to get a better grade in my class, writing a paper, I would suggest you maybe choose one or two studies and do a more in-depth review. So this student choose to review this, go further and introduce this study. So she said in their study, participants were randomly divided into two groups, and then she quickly described the design of the studies and what they found. Okay, and after that, what she said, I find it very interesting because some people who came to me warning about what I should and should not eat were a little overweight themselves, and so on and so forth. All right. So basically, you strictly follow the APA style by citing the last name and the year and nothing else. Okay. Give a good summary of the studies right here. Follow those specific rules. They are very simple, and then you should get a higher grade. Okay.